Alright, welcome to this tutorial for using the Boss laser. To begin, you'll want to turn on the peripherals, which are the chiller and the air compressor. You do that simply by just turning on the power strip that we have there. And then you'll go to turn the actual machine on, which is just turning this key, and it'll sort of automatically adjust and reset until you're ready to use it. There's a light switch on the side that activates a light within the laser so you can see things a little bit clearer. It's located on the side of the machine where the key is, and then you'll always want to make sure the exhaust fan is turned on as well. Next to the keyboard is the reference log for previous cutting settings that people have done, and it changes per material, so use this as a quick reference, but doing your own testing beforehand will give you better results. Once you are logged into the laser's computer, you will need to open RDWorks or the Light Burner software. The shortcut will be located on the desktop. Once the software is opened, you will import your file through the menu by doing Select, File, and then Import. Navigate to find your file and select Open. Where your file sits in the software does not translate to where it will cut on the bed. It is just there as a size reference for you to see if your file will fit the laser bed. If you experience sizing issues, always make sure your file is exported using millimeters as its metric system. Inches will be too large and inaccurate. You can make fine adjustments in scale by proportions in the top left toolbar. Click the lock to keep uniform proportions. Also, to rotate by degree is just to the right of the sizing constraints. You can always use Ctrl Z to undo any changes that you made that you do not want. For more complex files, you can cut and engrave in a single job. Use the color swatches at the very bottom of the software to set what lines you want to cut and what lines you want to engrave. Before sending your file to the machine, you will always want to set your settings for the machine. Every material has somewhat different settings. The settings you will be adjusting will be the speed, the processing mode, either cut or engrave, and the power level. The scan setting will be your engrave setting. Engraving should always have a faster speed and a lower power setting. The laser can only cut up to 1/4 inch or 5 to 6 millimeters thick. Anything above that should be cut in the wood shop. When set correctly, all areas that will be engraved will be filled with the color it is set to, in this case black, as you can see. When your settings are set, you can click download. This will transfer your file to the laser. Make sure the laser is turned on so that it can communicate with the software. Give your file a nickname and it will download to the machine. Now that you have downloaded your file to the machine, go to the laser's control panel to select your file and set the focus and the origin of the laser head. To retrieve your file, select the File button on the control panel, and it should be the first file you see. If not, use the arrows and find the file by the nickname you gave it. Hit Enter to select your file. Preview your file on the LCD screen to double-check file settings for your speed and power before cutting. After you have selected your file, you will need to manually set the laser head's origins to where it will cut. Use the arrows to move the laser head. The laser head will move right to left, not left to right, so adjust the laser head accordingly to the laser programming. When you selected where you want the laser to cut, hit the Origin button on the control panel. This will lock the laser head's location. Make sure your material is placed inside to preview if your file will fit your material. Adjustments will need to be made if it does not. To preview this, hit the Frame button on the control panel to frame where your file will be on your material. Do this several times and move the material rather than the laser head for faster adjustments. Next, you will need to autofocus the lens to your material. To autofocus the lens, press the Z-U button on the control panel located in the middle of the arrows. At the bottom is the autofocus function. Use the arrows to scroll down to highlight autofocus. Press enter to run the function. Autofocusing will ensure your engravings and cuts are clean and successful. Unfocused engravings will be blurry and cuts will be incomplete. You will see the laser head compress and decompress to match the depth needed to cut your material. Now that the laser head origin is set and the lens is focused, you are ready to run your laser file. Close the hood of the machine and press the start button on the control panel. Do not open the hood during the coating process. It will continue to run the job, but cut off the power to the laser, leaving gaps in your file. Do not leave any laser project unattended for various safety reasons. To pause and cancel a job mid-cut, press the Start Pause button again, and then press the Escape button on the control panel to cancel the job. In case of an emergency, you can press the Dead Man button, which is the large red button located underneath the key. Press it all the way down to engage the button. Once the situation is under control, turn the red button to disengage it. When your job is done, make sure all remaining pieces of materials are removed from the bed. Turn the key to the machine to the off position and turn off the power strip of the peripherals as well.